Hello, I am SONYA Ward, and the topic of the discussion today is what to do if you should experience a stove fire. Now, even though I'm going to give you some very useful information, real simple information, the most valuable advice I can give you is to never panic and remain calm. Because if you allow panic to set in, everything I'm going to tell you after is going to be out the window. And how do I know? Because on July 5th of this year, I had a stove fire that got out of control. And it could have been, things could have turned out a lot worse than they did. Because I did panic. And I remember doing an Empower Me party in New Jersey for a woman and a group of friends, about 30, let me turn this music down, about 30 of her friends. And she explained to me that she had been severely burned in a kitchen fire all over her body, and that she was in the hospital for several months. Her entire body was wrapped because she was burned severely. And I was like, oh my goodness. And she said she made a very crucial mistake. She was frying chicken, the grease caught on fire, and immediately she threw water on the fire, and it caused an explosion in her kitchen where she was severely burned. And I remember the impact of that story really just sat in my spirit, and I thought to myself, my goodness, who wouldn't throw water on a fire? It seems like the go-to thing to do. When you have a fire, the fire gets put up by excessive water. But there's a difference in regular fire and a grease fire, or a fire that is on the stove that has all kinds of oily components involved in it. So at any rate, July 5th, I was in the process of preparing to take an exam from my home, a proctored exam, and I was warming wax on the oven, and this wax sits inside of a little burner that you can, at a low temperature, put on the oven. Ideally, you really should be using the little tea light candle to warm it, but at any rate, I use the oven all the time, the stove top, at a very, very low temperature to warm it, because this wax is a fragrant and it allows beautiful scent to go throughout the house. And I remember I was rushing to get things done before the time for my exam. I'm a little out of breath because I'm dealing with a double ear infection and throat infection. But please stay with me because I really want to get this information to you. But let me turn this down some more. I was preparing for this exam, and I wanted to quickly get my dishes done, quickly start a load of laundry, and just, I kind of was like running through the house to try to get some last minute things done before I started the exam. And I turned the burner on, it was low, and I went upstairs to take clean towels up and put them away. And I just stuck them in the linen closet, and I came right back downstairs, and the fire was, if the stove is here, the fire was about this yay high, okay? From about here to here. Just enough that it was reaching the fan. And so I looked at it and I thought to myself, oh my God, that's pretty high. Turned around to the kitchen, and I got myself a pitcher of water, and I threw the water on the fire. Biggest mistake. I had already been warned, but I allowed myself to panic. I came down and I saw the fire, and I was like, oh my God. And I just ran for water. I didn't think. So when things happen and we don't think, and we don't process the outcome, we make detrimental, crucial mistakes that could cost us our lives, And so I really want to say, in the background, I'm playing the song Safe in His Arms, and I wanted to play that song because I felt like it was very appropriate, because what happens next is, when I threw the water on the fire, I had a huge explosion in my kitchen. Instantly, the fire became a fire so big that it went to the ceiling, it went to the floor, it covered the cabinets, everything, the microwave, everything that was there was caught up in this explosion. And as for me, like, I was just like in a state of shock. I remember seeing the yellow, the orange, the white, this big ball of fire, and I was smack in the middle of it. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna die, because I couldn't get away from it. And so I just closed my eyes and I said, God. And within 2-3 seconds, the entire explosion dissipated. Everything, the ball of fire was so consuming and so big. It went from the ceiling around. It was this big burst all around me. When I opened my eyes, it was gone. And I felt my skin stinging everywhere. I think I had on like a tank. I had on a tank top. And so all of this was stinging. This was stinging. My cheeks were stinging. And my arms were stinging. But I looked at my arms and I didn't see anything. I just felt the burn. And I had, just a couple days before, purchased a big aloe vera leaf. And I stuck it in my refrigerator. And, you know, I'm into health stuff, but I haven't had the aloe vera leaf around for a very long time. And so I bought it. And see, this is why I'm playing safe in his arms. And this is why I want you to know that we are safe in his arms. You know, there are times when things will be worse and he's still with us. And when they come out okay and he's still with us. But respective to this story, he was preparing me, because I was stinging. You know, it was weird. And I was like, okay, is my skin gonna fall off tomorrow? I mean, how is this thing gonna go? How's it gonna pan out? And so I went and I looked in the mirror. There's a mirror in my kitchen. I saw nothing. I didn't see redness. I didn't see any wrinkled skin or anything. I just felt a sting. Now, I kept rubbing the aloe vera, cut it open, and I remember when it exploded, I screamed for my husband, "Cow, cow," you know, like that. And Q came running down the stairs, because when someone screams, you know, there's a specific scream that lets you know that they're in danger or something's really wrong. And he came running, and by the time he got there, you know, the fire was gone, because I closed my eyes. I said, God. And then I opened my eyes and it was gone, and I screamed. So by the time he got down there, it was gone. And I said to him, you will not believe this, Q. You will not believe this, but there was an explosion in his kitchen. And he was looking around, he was shocked. And he's like, are you exaggerating? And he looked up, he saw black soot all over the ceiling, all over the cabinets, all over the stove, all over the countertop, all on the floor, just big black soot everywhere. And his mouth was open, and he's like, in shock, like, oh my God, what just happened? And I explained to him what happened, but I couldn't really talk about it too much, because I was really in shock. I was truly in shock. I just had to lean against the countertop and just, I don't even know what was on my mind. I was in shock. But I want to tell you that for a fire that big, an explosion that big to go out within a second, and all around me, and I know it was around me because of the sting, but it did no damage. Nothing. If anything, when I wash my face, it's excessively dry in this area, a little white a little bit. So I just put a lot of moisturizer on it and cream. But for the most part, nothing happened to me. And I want to say to God be the glory, and that you are, and we are safe in his arms. If you should have a kitchen fire, the first thing you need to do is tell yourself, do not panic, no matter what it looks like. Know that between you and God, the right decisions will be made. Do not use water. You may not be as fortunate to escape it without serious burns and injury, or you may not be able to escape it in general. And in my case, I was blessed, I was spared, I was covered, and God is good. And so I'm grateful for that. But you, please do not ever use fire. This is how you put out a stove fire. What you do is you look for a lid, preferably a metal lid or a steel lid, not the glass because it can crack, but look for a lid that you can cover it with and it will smother it out. If you can't do that, use baking soda if it's within reach. It'll be a little messy to clean up, but it's safer. And by all means, keep a fire extinguisher close. I have one like right around from the kitchen in the laundry room. I didn't even think of that because if you don't use it, it's out of sight, out of mind. So I didn't even think to extinguish it, you know. Maybe keeping your extinguisher closer to your stove might be the better thing to do so that you can see it daily and be reminded that it's there. So put it in a location where you will more than likely need it the most. And I would say really have one on every floor of the house. And by everything, you know, in the basement, one in the kitchen, laundry room, and upstairs around the bathroom or something like that, where you use curling irons and things that could create a fire. But stay safe, remain calm, do not panic, never, ever, ever, never, ever use water for a stove fire, an oven fire, or a kitchen fire that involves cooking. Never, never. Carry the pot outside because the grease may splash and then the fire will spread through the house. Okay, I'm here to talk about it because I'm blessed and I was spared, but I didn't have to be. So to God be the glory for what he did for me. Obviously, my work is not done. Thank you for listening. I am Sonya Ward. And if you'd like to hear more stuff from me, continue to come back to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. Click like, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and visit me at www.themediamixer.com. God bless.